everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
Z Garcia, hello.
Sam Healy, welcome back, folks.
We're at part 3 of our top 100 games of all time, according to us, in September of 2000, or October, whenever you're watching this, of 2018.
By October, it's changed, man. Don't put me under that kind of pressure.
No, end of October it could have.
Yes.
So far,
This is
it hasn't
correct.
changed for me.
All right.
I don't think I've played any game that will bust the top 100, but that could always happen. So, our trivia fact of the day is a game that fell off the list, which I'm sure is not on either of yours, but it went from 62 to down to 116,
Okay.
and that
Wow.
is Love Letter.
Love letter. Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty confident it's on neither of your lists.
It's not my my favorite flavor of love letter these days is Lovecraft letter. Mm-hmm. I really like the production in that one, but even that didn't make my list. Yeah.
Well, it's weird because this was like the game that they made a new copy of every 2 months.
Correct.
And then they sold Love Letter to Asmodee, and we've heard nothing about it. Maybe they're like holding it back and they'll re-release it.
No, they were just tired of seeing new copies of it, so they bought it.
As when they
They're like,
bought it,
we're going to
and
end that.
buried it.
We're going to end that right now.
Oh man,
That would be a lot of money to spend.
shadow tactics.
Alrighty. Well, let's get going. Here we go, starting with number
80.
80. All right, my number 80 has been on the list since the very beginning. It has been called a pile of names, and I know they're releasing it at Essen again under yet another name from another company.
What could this be?
And it is Hollywood Blockbuster or Trafombrick or
yeah, Dream Factory.
Dream Factory, but I know there's a new version coming out at Essen. This Reiner Knizia game.
Reiner
which-
Knizia's game, formerly known as. Yeah.
I really like it, though. I like the idea. It's a fun auction game. It has some unique things. First of all, whenever you bid on anything, the money goes to everybody else, which is a rarity. So if you lose a lot of auctions, you will eventually... You're going to not lose at some point.
Real world application. Yeah.
And then I also like basically putting the movies together. Now, I have a pasted-up copy. I don't know. I've never played any of the parody versions, like Jim Scary is in this movie. I don't know if I would like that. Do you guys like parody?
No, I don't think so. I would rather have.
To an extent, I'd rather have real.
Of course, but then
I mean,
legality.
I don't know. I would rather have like fake people completely.
Oh, really?
Would you? No. I like saying, I made Bambi, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
I guess.
That would be a disgusting movie. I think.
You would? Yeah, okay. So moving on. Anyway, Hollywood Blockbuster, my number 80.
My number 80 has been mentioned before. I think it was Tom on his list. It's Eric Lang game from Simon,
Godfather.
The Godfather.
Whoa, see, we both still like it. Yeah!
Godfather, Corleone's Empire, number 80. It was 73 last year, so it slipped a bit, but there's...
I don't consider that slippage because you have
you're
new
it's
games
really in the
coming.
same segment,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it really has no slip whatsoever. The area control mechanism is really fun in this game. I like how you can have just these, like, I guess it's literally bombs in the theme of the game, but it really feels like that because the bomb just has that effect where one place blows up and then everything that's connected to it can also go up as well. That's the putting the bodies in the river. Once, that was a cool little thematic flair to the game as well. But I enjoy it a lot. It's not. I was never a Godfather fan, so it's not like that's what drew me to it. I just enjoyed the gangster theme, and it was a good game on top of that. So my number 80 is The Godfather, Corleone's Empire.
All right. My number 80 is a small card game, one of my favorite small card games, one I've been a fan of for a long time. This is R Echo. R Echo was originally published by Z-Man Games. Long time ago. It's a small Japanese design.
Rico.
Rico. Some people do say Rico. The version I have is not that one anymore. But it's a very simple hand management game in which you are collecting garbage from different factories and then delivering it to be recycled at the correct factory, the whole time managing that you don't go above a certain number of cards in your hand. Real clean, very straightforward design. I like it a lot. I like that it's thematic in many ways. I like that you never draw blindly in this game. You will never draw from a deck. Everything you are picking up into your hand is already displayed on the table, so you could puzzle this out, but it doesn't play that way. It's very quick and then straightforward. Really like this one. It just sinks. Every time it comes to the table for me, I have a great time teaching it and playing it. So our Echo was my 67 last time. It's my 80 right now.
The People's Choice 80 has been on the list for a long, long time, and I'm surprised it still is. It was 81 last year, so it went up by 1. Mm-hmm. And that is Memoir 44, which is odd because this game is not really that readily available. I guess it's still sold.
You can still get the base game
but you can't get like most of the expansions very easily.
No.
Yeah, but I guess there isn't many light war games in the market, period.
Sure.
You have access to now as a Memoir. What else are you going to buy?
Days of Wonder's games, they're few and far between, but they have amazing staying power.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, they do.
All right, well, Memoir 44, your number 80.
Good choice.
My number 79, this is the 7th year it's been on the list. It was 75 last year. I just got some upgraded components for this game, so I'm pumped to try it out, and that's Seasons. I got those new little discs.
Yeah.
I like Seasons. It's
7 years old already?
Yeah, I know. Makes you feel old, huh?
Wow.
I like the artwork in the game. I like the theming of it. I like the drafting a lot. I only want to play drafting now, where you can like draft your hands of cards
at the
each
beginning.
turn. Right, at the beginning. Yeah. I like that drafting, and then you get these spells that work together. I find it fun. I like the rolling of dice and then drafting the dice as you play. That works well. There's very little I dislike about the game. It's just it plays smoothly. It plays quickly. Although the one thing I wouldn't like, I guess, is there are some people who do not get to play Seasons with me because they take too long picking the dice. But other than that, really enjoy it. Great game, Seasons.
My number 79 was 70 last year, so it has slipped a bit, but not much. It is the best version of Wallenstein currently available, and that is
Wallenstein.
Shogun. Shogun is. I like the theme better than the Germany theme. I like the map better. It's a tighter map as far as I'm concerned. I like what the game does as far as balancing the kind of the tightrope act that you have to as a leader. I would imagine with taxing your people and working them too hard in the fields and that type of stuff. And you have to be careful with how much you do that in this game, and I enjoy that. I've always liked Shogun. Better than Wallenstein after Shogun came out. I'll put it that way. I enjoy Wallenstein. I really enjoy the system, but I like Shogun better because of the theme and the map.
Yep.
So that is my number 79. Was 70 last year. Shogun.
Wallenstein just fell off my list. It's like
Really?
sitting in the top hundreds right now.
Wow.
But still, it's still pretty high.
Yeah.
All right, my 79 is a cooperative game called Elder Sign, and this is...
Wow, I thought this would be higher on your list, actually.
Actually, it was not on my list at all last year.
What?
And I feel like it must have been at one point, so it might have slipped off last year, but
the
it jumped back
expansions are
on.
bringing it back.
There's so many, and they're really fantastic expansions. Very simple. It's not simple, but it's got a... The story is simple compared especially to the big Arkham-style games out there, the big co-op games from FFG. This is one of the simpler ones, dice-driven, pretty straightforward stuff from that point of view. The expansions have been really thematic. The original game was not particularly thematic, I thought. The expansions are helping. And I would certainly recommend it if you're looking for a co-op that's dice-driven and has the mythos on top of that. Definitely play with fewer, lower player count. 1, 2, 3, that's great. Game plays up to 8 for some ridiculous reason.
You should always play with 8.
Don't do that.
Oh my goodness.
But other than that,
Try to squeeze a 9th in if
What
you
about
can.
7?
7 is slightly better than 8, but
6.
not enough. Elder Sign, my 79.
Number 79 for People's Choice is new to the list for them, although it's not a new game. It won the Kenner Spielsjahres, and this is one of those games that I personally think it's okay. I'm surprised at the love for it, and that's Isle of Skye.
Yeah.
Isle of Skye feels like a gamier Carcassonne, but not as fun for me. It's okay.
I was not particularly enamored with it myself. I did not get it.
I don't dislike it. It just, again, I'm surprised it's so high.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that people do like it. It keeps getting talked about. It keeps getting reprinted. I think there's an expansion that just came out.
I think so, yeah.
You liked it, right?
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it a lot. I think it has a great next step feel to Carcassonne.
I agree. It's just that I don't. I felt Carcassonne was fine as it was.
No, it is. But if you like the tile laying mechanic in Carcassonne, but you're wanting something else to go with it,
More sheep.
this is good. I like it.
All right, so Isle Sky. My number 78 is new to the list, and it's the very definition of what I dislike in games normally, because the cover is awful, the components look like garbage, and it's the very definition of a cube pusher.
Ooh, you're selling me on it so far.
Way to build it up there.
I'm getting this right now.
But the trading aspect of this game is so much fun, and that's Sidereal Confluence. When you get the big group of people together, it's just such a phenomenal game. It's the Twilight Imperium of trading games.
That's going to be a thing now, Sam. I'm sorry.
My goodness.
That's the first time I've said it.
And hopefully it'll be the last.
Twilight Imperium may not have made my top 100 at all.
It's not?
Entire list invalidated.
I agree. Mine's coming up.
So, no, but Sidereal Confluence is definitely a game where you're trading cubes to move these cubes here, to get these cubes, to get points. On paper, it doesn't sound good, but the aliens have
No,
such
it also
unique...
doesn't sound good when spoken out loud.
I don't care. Watch my review. Try it out at some point. It is... The sum total is more amazing than the parts, for sure.
Yeah.
I really like it. Sidereal Confluence, my number 78.
All right, my number 78 is a reprint of another game, and I can't remember the other game. Cloud something...
Cloud 9?
Cloud 9, yeah, it's a reprint of Cloud 9. It's called Celestia. Celestia was 59 last year, so slippage has happened, which is, there's a lot of slippage in my list. But
That's our new thing. So some slippage in here.
yeah, some slippage.
Side effects might include slippage.
That's right.
From, that's new game releases. Side effects might include slippage.
But Celestia is a good game by itself. I think what really makes Celestia good is its mini expansion called With a Little Help. And
Style is the goal.
no, that's not it. Wrong game.
Style is a slippage.
But anyway, you're trying to move along from these different places that are in the air, these floating islands, basically, and you're rolling dice. You're trying to provide for the requirements to make the trip from one place to the next, and sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, and that's kind of a bummer in the base game. But with the expansion, if somebody has what you need, without you telling them, they can say, "Oh, here, I'm going to play this card as well."
Okay.
And it may be what you need, it may not be what you need, but I like that kind of co-op feel that it brings to the game. I really enjoy it.
I'll
Anyway,
have to try it. I like the game.
It adds
I've not
cards.
played
I mean,
the expansion.
The original one didn't have cards at all, right? I mean...
It did.
yeah, I did.
Celestia did. No, Cloud 9 didn't have cards.
Okay.
No, yeah,
yeah.
Cloud 9 had cards.
Yeah,
They
it
all
had
have cards.
cards.
What am I saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. You roll, and then you have to discard... Yeah, you're right. You have
Yeah,
to
you have to
discard the
discard.
matching cards to the
Right.
dice.
We don't know games.
But anyway, that's my number 78, Celestia.
All right, my number 78 was at one point in my top 10 games of all time. This is a party game, and party games just probably don't age as well, honestly. That's probably why there is some slippage to be had. This is compatibility. Compatibility is
Wow, I do remember this being in your top 10.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
still love it. It's a great game. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's a very simple game in which you are given a topic, you have a partner in the game, you have a deck of cards that matches theirs with images and stuff, and then you pick the ones that you more strongly associate with whatever the topic was. Like slippage. So you find the cards that match that, you flip them, and you see if you match with each other. That's it.
I think compatibility would be a great game to make our own custom decks for.
Yeah. I would
That might
do
be
that.
that might be an interesting thing to try at some point.
Yeah, I agree. I really like it. Compatibility. Really neat party game. My 78.
Your number 78 is the second time it's been on the list, although it's been out for like 8 years, I think, and that's Sushi Go. And this is probably because Sushi Go Party came out a few years ago, not really the price
Boosted it.
point combined. I mean, I think it was like $15 for a
I know
whole
you got way
pile
more.
of
You got
cards.
way more game. Yeah.
Yeah, this one just does really well. I like it a lot too. Did not make my top 100, but I mean, it's a really great game. You're not as big of a fan of it.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, so Sushi Go, you're number 78. Number 77 has been on my list since almost the beginning, I think, at least since it's come out. It's already been on Z's list, and that is Dixit.
Yeah.
Dixit, the party game, was 65 last year. Again, it only moved just because whatever. I I agree with him. There's so many expansions for this game. I've given up trying to figure out if I even have them all. I just have a ton. You know, and there's a lot of great artwork. And every time I think, the artwork's not as good as it used to be, they come out with a set where the artwork's just as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
They kind of, it's almost odd evens on their artwork.
Well, the latest set I saw that I believe you got had the gold gilding on some of the cards.
I want to say it's 2 sets ago, but
Okay, I mean, it's like amazing looking. It looks
yeah, they look really, really
stunning.
nice.
Yeah.
So when you get one of those cards, you're just playing it.
I don't care.
Vote
I
for
mean,
my card, it has gold!
I don't care what the topic is. This card is getting played.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this feels like it will be on my top 100 for a while. I don't know. But it's just such a good party game.
It is simple. It's great.
Dix it.
All right, my number 77 will probably be higher. Well, will be, probably.
You don't know!
No, we know. Number 77, it was 52 last year. A Cosmic Encounter.
Off the list.
Right. Yeah.
103.
From 2 to
Just slipped off.
102. Just tiny slip.
That's more than slippage. That's cosmic slippage.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, Entropy Beast.
I think part of the reason this one's slipping down further for me is that every time I play it, it kind of feels the same, and it doesn't really matter what alien I'm playing. And I don't know. It just evolves into this almost a popularity contest. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
It's still in your top 100, though.
No, it is. I still enjoy playing the game. It's
You
just
sound
that
so excited about having it.
I don't know.
It's off his list next year. I'm calling
Maybe
it.
we'll see. 77 Cosmic Encounter. We'll see.
All right, my number 77 is, speaking of Sushi Go Party, from the same designer as that, Phil Walker Harding. This is Archaeology, the New Expedition. Same game as Archaeology, the card game. The New Expedition added a few more things to it. It's a stunningly gorgeous edition of the game. The first one was not much of a looker, the first
At all.
Archaeology, the card
Right.
game. This one looks great. It's a really good intro game for non-gamers. It's a set collection game in which you are just making groups of cards. The more you have, the more they score. Kind of like Bonanza. That's basically it. But the play is very simple. You draw a card at the beginning of every round, play a set, or maybe trade some cards with some available in the market on the table. That's it. Really like it. I've played this a lot with family, with non-gamers, and it just goes over smoothly. Very clean design. So Archaeology, the New Expedition was as high as 31 last year. It's 77 right now.
Your number 77 fell from 38. That's
There you
because
go.
Uwe has made this game 17 other times, so your love is being split, I'm sure, and that's Patchwork. Patchwork is done really well, right? Because it lets you do the Tetris thing,
Yeah.
except there is now about 10 games that do that, including Baron Park, I just mentioned, from Phil Walker Harding, and
Patchwork Express.
Patchwork Express, although I don't think that one will even touch the list, because it's probably too easy for people, right? It's like almost a kid's version of Patchwork. But this is one that I like. I'm kind of surprised that people love it as much as they do, but I've stopped being surprised at it. You guys like it. 77, Patchwork.
Cool.
Number 76 for me is new to the list, although it's not a new game. I just realized every time I play it how much I like it, even if these guys don't like it as much as I do, and that is Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. I just love that.
The new version, I'm sure, doesn't hurt.
Oh, the Osprey version? No, the Osprey version is
Stunning
great.
production. It's very well done.
It doesn't hurt to have that whole. I don't need to worry about paper and pencils anymore. We
dry
have our own
erase
little
boards,
book,
right?
right?
Yep.
And then you can all flip to the same one. But that whole tension of, is Sam really an alien? Are we on the same team? I don't
Yes.
know. Is he hunting me? I can't tell.
Yes.
I think it's more tense to play the humans. The aliens, you're just sitting there going, trying to catch humans, and you're trying to be, but the human, you almost feel literal fear. You could if you got hit in the head, you got caught.
Yeah. I don't know. The last time I played this was 2 years ago, and I did enjoy that experience. I just don't have that kind of experience with this game often.
I had one kind of experience with this game. It was like, oh, I'm a human on a space station. That was it. So I'll watch the rest of you enjoy yourselves.
It's better than being an alien. You're like, oh, I'm going to go out and kill some humans. Then the other alien kills you. And you're like, thanks a lot, loser.
Thanks, pal. Check under the human face next time.
Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space, my number 76.
My number 76 is also new to the list this year, and which I double checked, and it's strange that it's new to the list this year because I thought I put it on last year, but I guess I didn't. It's Massive Darkness.
Oh, you hadn't played it last year, or you only had played the prototype. That's
Hadn't
why.
played it yet.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine. So Massive Darkness is a
Wow,
dungeon
this is
crawl.
higher than I thought.
Well, I do enjoy it. I think I like it better than many other dungeon crawls. Not all. And we'll understand why. But many other dungeon crawls are just kind of fall flat. This one is, while it's, I guess the similarities that it has with Zombicide Black Plague really is what kind of brings it into the limelight for me, because it's a semi-familiar system, and so it's a little bit easier to sink my teeth into it. So I do enjoy it. The miniatures are amazingly done, of course, with Simon. So
And there's certainly a lot of variety available for the game.
yes, there's a ton of variety for the game as well, so that's cool too. That's my number 76, Massive Darkness.
Speaking of new games to the list, and not necessarily new releases to the list, this is a small trick-taking card game called Eternity that apparently was not on my list before, but it has become
Wow.
it has become one of my favorite trick-taking games.
I like it, but
Is that the tree
it's a
game?
weird one.
Yeah.
Has a tree.
It's a really clean one. It's actually really straightforward, as opposed to most trick-taking games these days anyway attempt to give you something new by complicating the matter. This one does not. You're just, playing cards, and you have to strike a balance between not even contending for the fight in one hand and then trying to win. You make a combination of those two things. You can plant a tree. You want to have as many plots as trees. That's basically it. I like that it's got a nice fluid idea of which suit is strongest at any given time. It really works for me. I enjoy it very much. It also is one of the trick-taking games that manages to not outstay its welcome. There's a lot of those that just play a little long. This does not. So, 76, Eternity.
Your number 76, for the first time since we've started doing this, is only on the list once. Avalon Has Fallen. Resistance, number 76. It used to be Resistance and Resistance Avalon.
So it's
always made
it's
the list.
the original, not Avalon?
Avalon did not make the list.
That's interesting.
So the Resistance was 51. It's been as high as 13 in the past. And I think this one is easy to say. I mean, everyone still obviously enjoys it, but there is now about 700 million different social deduction games. Not an exaggeration.
Lowballing it.
No, but there is a lot of social deduction games out there competing for everyone's time.
Yes.
Obviously, the Secret Hitler came out, and then Good Cop, Bad Cop, and you just played. I mean,
Patriots.
I feel like I play a new social deduction game every month or so.
Hail Hydra.
And we probably have like 6 over here that we haven't played because it's like, oh, it's another social deduction game. There's a lot of them. Z likes the cannibal one. All right, so Resistance, you're number 76. Number 75 for me is kind of a fast drop. It was 19, then 44, now 75. I still like the game a lot. I feel sometimes like I'm the only guy who likes this game much. I mean, you like it, but it just doesn't get talked about anymore, and that's Cry Havoc. Cry Havoc, and even I find that it's not getting to the table as much. And it's weird because I like the combat in the game. I love the miniatures. I love the technologies and all the stuff that's involved with the game. It just doesn't come out that much for whatever reason. Maybe that's
Crowded
because
space, maybe?
Blood Rage and Rising Sun and these other games are existing that are pushing it out. I still think I love the theme. I love the very asymmetrical nature of the game. I like it a lot still. It's still on my list, but who knows where we'll be next year. Cry Havoc, number 75.
Maybe it's a little too quirky for its own good. It's got a lot of eccentricities about it.
It does. It's an esoteric game. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's not like a
makes it
straight up in your
polarizing.
face.
That's hard to teach also.
Yeah.
And some of the factions are easier to play than others.
yeah,
So like if you play the Trogs, they're really easy to play. While like the
it can even be daunting to play against.
Yeah, right. Because you're like, it's not fair playing against these guys. They're stronger than everybody else. Well, sure, it's balanced. All Treasure Checks games are balanced, but they're not necessarily balanced for new players.
Well, they're not apparently like it's not obvious they're balanced.
Right.
That doesn't make a good first impression.
But
Yeah, I agree. So 75, Cry Havoc.
my number 75 is the biggest slipper.
Twilight Imperium. Oh,
This is the biggest slipper in the entire list, I think. I don't think there was anything that was higher.
Used to be number 1.
I don't own slippers.
Oh, my goodness.
That'd be great.
No.
That'd be amazing if he drops that right now. Bam.
Although it was number 9.
Wow.
It was in my top
Trying
10
to think.
last year. And
It was in your
is
top 10 last year?
Yeah. Yeah. It just didn't hit the table as much as I thought it was going to.
Rebellion.
Negative. No.
I don't remember your top 10 is.
Battlestar.
No.
Battlestar of Winter.
Sword.
Zolkin. And sorcery.
Sword and sorcery, that is correct.
Oh.
Wait,
Dungeon-
did you just
Dungeon
say...
Crawl from Ares
you
Games.
just said Massive Darkness is your last one, right?
Yeah.
So this one's slightly better.
Yes, and I like it slightly better because of the RPG feel that it has to it, and that's something that Massive Darkness doesn't really do. But the RPG feel that Sword and Sorcery brings to the table, along with everything else that Massive Darkness does, is why it's slightly better, in my opinion, than Massive Darkness. But I do enjoy the game. It just didn't hit the table as much as I was hoping it would. It just didn't get the playing time that I've had over the past year, so it fell a lot. But it's still on my top 100. I still enjoy the game. It's great. You should try it. But that's my number 75, Sword and Sorcery.
It's a crowded field, man.
It is.
All right,
for sure.
my 75 is a card game called Elysium. Was my 38 last year. I really enjoy this one's
This is one of your white whales that no one talks about, but
Yeah.
you mostly.
Yeah. It's certainly probably. I would guess part of it is that it's an overproduced card game. It comes in a really big box. Doesn't need to be that big. It's a card game, but I really like the look. I like the theme. You know, I like the mythology that they use all over the game, and it's just pretty straightforward sort of set collection. Cards have powers. I'm a sucker for that. If the cards are characters or buildings or something, and they have powers that I can trigger, I'm probably going to like your game. So this one does that with some nice flair on top of it. Elysium, my 75.
Your number 75 has been on the list for several years. It's because it's cute. That's Takinoko.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's also a good game. But there's a lot of
Takinoko's
games.
got more going on than would appear at first blush. Actually, I pulled this off the shelf once thinking, this is a cute game. This is like cute. I'm going to teach this to my family. That did not go over well.
Really? I thought
There
that'd
are
be pretty
more
easy.
rules in that game than I remembered when I dug into teaching. There's a lot going on in that game. It's just cute also.
Oh, I like it. I think it's great. I'm surprised. I mean, it also has the long tail evergreen effect at this point. I think we can say it's an evergreen because it's still this popular.
Yeah.
Not many of the games of that weight usually last that long. So your number 75, Takinoko. All right, we are now in the top 75%. Here we go.
Ready.
My number 74 is brand new to the list, and in fact is probably the newest game on my list because we just
You had a game that
played
hadn't
this.
come out, okay, earlier.
Yeah,
so
really.
this better
No,
be
Reef-
this better have be just announced and not actually designed.
Yes.
No, Reef actually has been out a while. It's just not very. Well, Reef is out right now. You can buy it at your store. Okay, so anyway. Now, this one, I'm not even sure it's been delivered to everyone for the Kickstarter yet, but we got an early copy. Architects of the West Kingdom.
Oh.
Really like this game. I wasn't surprised. I love the worker placement aspect of this one. It felt interesting and unique it gave me the same feeling when I first played Raiders of the North Sea. I was like, oh wow, something different. It doesn't hurt that it looks really good. Yeah, just really like this one a
I
lot.
thought about it, I'll tell you.
Oh, I thought this one actually might make your top
Yeah,
100.
I thought about it. It might be like, 130 or higher. So it's around there somewhere.
It might move up then actually
It
for
might,
you,
yeah.
depending if you play it more.
It might kick out some of the old tried and true worker placement games.
Yeah, so Architects of the
They're
West
old.
Kingdom, my number 74. Yeah, we don't play games if they're more than 10 years old.
okay.
Garbage!
Released this week or later, as in the future. That didn't work.
That was
Go ahead.
not good. All right, my number 74 is based upon the new version that's going to be released soon from Gray Fox Games. This
Okay.
probably go up next year.
Oh, this is that.
Run, Fight, or Die.
Oh, no, that's not what I thought it was. I thought it was that other one.
Yeah, the new one looks
Run,
great.
Fight, or Die looks really good.
That's is it
and,
a preemptive top 100?
no.
Well, no, he's played the game,
Yeah.
Oh,
but
okay.
he's now he would like the game and graphics.
Run Fighter Die is a great zombie dice game by Richard Lanius, and it is everything Lanius is about. Just over-the-top flair, over-the-top rolling of the dice, comboing the dice, just a lot of stand-up type of excitement, and it's a lot of fun. First time I learned how to play the game, it was with Lanius, with my son Michael, at Dice Tower Con. He taught us how to play it when 7th Summit, what was the name of it?
8th Summit had it,
8th
yes.
Summit had it, way back when. Really enjoyed it ever since then, and it's at the table frequently in my house. It was 38 last year, but with the new edition coming out from Gray Fox, I think it's probably going to rise back up a little bit next year.
See that, yeah.
So my number 74, Run, Fight, or Die.
Good stuff.
I don't know why I keep skipping
You
Z.
definitely keep doing that. Stop it. My 74 was 82 last year. It moved up. I'm not sure why. It's just been on my mind. Snowtails. Snowtails is one of my favorite racing games. It's got always, baby. It's got a unique theme when it comes to racing games. I haven't seen any other racing game that tackles sled racing, and mechanically it's also really robust and interesting. That's all there is to it. Snowtails, 74. Go.
Okay.
People choice turn now.
Okay.
Actually, there's one more thing.
Number 74 has been on the People's Choice since we begun, and it was 5.
At one point it was number 5.
It was an evergreen gateway game that just isn't as popular. It's actually cool not to like it these days, and that's Catan. So is a Catan, right? I mean, it's still on the list, though, at 74. It was 53 last year. Yeah, it keeps dropping. Now, I'm curious when we finally see, like, well, as will they ever release, like, a nice version of it? Because the Mayfair versions were never that great.
Like pretty, you mean?
Yeah, like a
or
really...
production quality, yeah.
Like a Ticket to Ride version of Catan. That could really change everything, I think.
Agree.
So, I mean, I don't get this whole I hate Catan thing. Now, you like only one version. I don't dislike Catan. I don't normally ask to play it.
Which, in my opinion, it is an Asmodee style.
Yeah, see? If it looked like that, I think. Anyway, Catan, you're number 74. All right, my number 73 came on the list 7 years ago at number 74. And then was 27, 23, 43, 51, 73. Kind of
Back home.
Yeah, it's back. I still like it. It's one of my favorite city building games from Bezier Games, Suburbia. Although it's weird to think now that it's like 7 years old. The longer we do this, the more I'm like, we've been playing games for a while.
I know.
Suburbia, though, I know it's not a looker of a game for a lot of people. It looks okay on the table. But I kind of like the little over the town. And I like how my town, and when I build it, affects yours. I build a new restaurant, people start coming to mine instead of yours.
Well, not
That's
mine. I don't play this game. But sure, I get the sentiment.
Well, I like Suburbia, and I liked the first expansion a lot. Second expansion was okay, but it just altogether it makes for a really entertaining game. So Suburbia, my number 73.
My number 73 is new to the list, new to my list this year. It's not a new game, although it had a resurgence in popular opinion because I believe it was nominated for Spiel des Jahres this year.
The Mind.
It came back to the limelight. We had already played it by Garfield Games. Raiders of the North Sea. Wasn't that nominated this year?
It was nominated for Kennerspiel last year.
Last year. Okay.
But we had played it way earlier than that.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, it's new to my list, and I guess it's the coming back into my mind that brought it back, but I really do enjoy the game. I'm a sucker for Viking-themed games, and this one really has that, and it's got a lot of neat mechanisms in it as well. Non-standard mechanisms, I guess you could say. The whole worker placement
out,
thing,
then pull a worker
and you have to pull
off.
something back. Yeah, and that's pretty cool. I like that. So number 73, Raiders of the North Sea.
Also, that's another Viking game on Sam's lists.
It's only 2.
So yeah, come down. Top 10 though. All Viking games. My 73 is a cooperative game that I guess has also come back into my mind, and this is Atlantis Rising. It's one that...
And this is before the new version.
This is the newer version is not out, though I'm sure it did not... I'm probably I assume it came back into my mind because I have been thinking about the new version. There is some artwork out there, but that's not out. Yes. The original version, which is what I've played many times, I've always enjoyed. It's a really neat push your luck cooperative game in which you can choose to do more at the risk that you'll get nothing at all on your upcoming turn. It's got luck. It's got it can be swingy, but it always does seem to feel like a nail biter. You know, it's the kind of game that after the first round you go, no, it's impossible. It's impossible to win. Look at how much of this island has already, been claimed by the ocean. We're going to lose in like 20 minutes. But it does work out. I really enjoy it. It's good stuff. Atlantis Rising, my 73.
Isn't Dutrait doing the new artwork for that?
Yeah.
That's exactly correct.
All right. People's Choice number 73 has been on the list since the beginning, and it has slowly fallen out. But that's just because I think it's not in print anymore, and that's Battlestar Galactica. Still, amongst these games, again, it's interesting to me that Shadows over Camelot and Battlestar Galactica have retained staying on the People's Choice. There's a lot of these social deduction games, and these are long ones.
And nobody else is doing the betrayer, the hidden traitor thing.
Dead of Winter is the only one I can think of.
That's
that was
it.
really
Like
a
that's
big
the
deal.
only one that was like, I also can do it. Like, where are these games?
Yeah.
Especially since you see how popular they are.
I guess maybe the social deduction genre has kind of taken that as their mantra a little bit.
I think so.
People want the shorter version, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Although I will say, very few of those
Short
games make the list. The Resistance and maybe a couple others, but not many social deduction games make the list.
Yeah.
All right. That's 73, Battlestar Galactica. Number 72 was 49, then 23, then 9. It's slowly dropping, and it's just because I just don't get it played as much anymore, and that's Mage Wars Academy, which knocked off Mage Wars, and now is slowly itself fading out. There's so many of these player versus player mage style games, right? And I still really like this one. I like the whole aspect of building my spell book ahead of time, and I can pick any spell I want. I don't have to sit around and wait for it to be drawn from a deck. And I like the rolling of dice to attack. It's all really good. The lack of support for it over the past year, it's kind of fading out. I know they're coming out this year with a few more things for it. The fact that Mage War cards themselves were never repurposed to fit with Mage Wars Academy, which is kind of like a type thing.
Okay. I thought they were. I thought they were backwards compatible.
No, it's only forward. Like you can play Mage Wars Academy stuff with Mage Wars, but because Mage Wars has a lot of creatures that have movement, and there's no movement in Mage Wars, it's just more like magic.
Yeah. Okay.
So
gotcha.
They have to redo those, and they didn't.
Okay.
So I felt, I kept bugging. I said, why don't you release a list of cards that can work over? I love that. But anyway, I still like the game a lot. I still think it's fun. That's Mage Wars Academy, and my number 72.
My number 72 is actually it has slipped just as much as my Sword and Sorcery did. No, I'm sorry. No, it hasn't.
It can have. Also, was like in your top
it wasn't.
5.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Never mind. I was doing the math incorrectly, which shouldn't surprise anybody.
So this is a game about math.
No. It is called Time Stories. This was my number 12 last year. And I think the lack of support, the fact that we don't play it that often, the episodic nature.
We're about to play a version. Maybe you'll have to come back and redo this.
I understand that. After I made the list, I saw that we had the new expansion. What is it called? Brotherhood of the Coast or something
the
like that?
pirate one, man.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But I really do enjoy the system. I think, as I just said a few seconds ago, the episodic nature is working against it rather than working for it. If the episodes or expansions came out a little bit closer together, this would probably be a lot higher on my list because I would get to play it more often.
They definitely, one of the things about this game, and it is coming up, there's no surprise there, but it's dropped for me too. One of the things is just that they had this big storyline in the background that they really teased at episode 1.
Yeah.
Then they went even farther, and now they're like, well, not really.
Yeah.
And that bugs me. If they never finish that, I won't trust a game from them again that does the same thing.
Yeah.
It actually slipped off my list.
It's off your top 100 completely?
It's off my top 100.
It was in your 10, wasn't it?
I rated it a 10. I don't do that for a lot of games. I still like it. I think it dropped to like a 7.5 or something, but it's off. It's too many. Again, he's right. If you're episodic, one episode comes out every 5 months, a dud of an episode
Kills it.
is like That's a year's worth of bad content when you think about it that way.
Right.
And the last one for us was a dud.
Right, and it's like, you get 2 bad ones, and then you don't wrap up your story or even invest in it, then it's like, well, okay, I'll give up 2.
Yeah.
Now realize this has come out. This list is coming out after we've probably reviewed Brotherhood of the Coast.
Yeah.
And it was better than the last one. Insert audio.
So
here.
maybe this will bring me back around because I've heard good things.
Sure.
People said it's good. We'll find out. But yeah, it's interesting. All right.
That was my number 72, Time Stories.
All right, my number 72 is one of the weirder games on my list. This is Witness, a 4-player
Witness
only.
me!
It's got a Fury Road theme.
Really?
In which you. It's a
Not the
Mad
cops in
Max game.
New York or Philadelphia where they are?
Witness.
Yeah.
Mad Max.
No, the Amish.
Come on, the Amish.
Oh, that's you gotta give me a Harrison Ford thing.
Harrison Ford's
to
not
pick
in
up.
this?
To pick up on that, yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's a 4-player puzzle-solving game in which you have some information, but now you have a piece of the puzzle, and then you have to whisper information to the next person, and then they will take their own information and yours and pass it along. It's like a weird exercise. It's not much of a game, really, but I enjoy the exercise. It's just funny. It's fun. I like it a lot. I've had great success with this. It's definitely, again, esoteric. It only will work with certain people and in certain situations. But when those things are right, this is a blast for me. 72 was 58 last time. Slight slippage, but still hanging on.
I coined a phrase.
Your number 72 was 75, so it's actually going up a little bit.
Uppage. Wait, what is that? I don't know. What's the opposite of slippage?
Climbing.
Climage?
All right.
Image.
Jaipur. This 2-player.
Jaipur, the app, I bet, helped.
I didn't realize. Did the app come out this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Well,
so.
there you go. With the
And it's great.
two-player.
It's a great app.
Trading type game. There's very few trading 2-player games. The other one being Asaranti / Jumbo.
Asante? It's not even. That one's not even really much of a trading game, but I think Jaipur definitely
Yes.
feels like a trading
What
game.
he said. Anyway, Jaipur.
I was like, what is
a lot of fun for
Asaranti?
2 players.
I don't know.
72. Blah, 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 blah. Moving on. My number 71 is one of the few games on my list that has climbed. It was 97 last year and 131 the year before that. But that's because a brand new version of this just was released after being out of print for like a decade almost from Looney Labs' Zendo.
Oh.
I love
yeah.
Zendo, and the more I play it, the more I like it. It's such a good deduction style game where you put some pieces on the table in a weird form, and you're like, what's the rule? Is the
2
rule?
pyramids have to be pointing at each other.
That's a very difficult rule
That is
to
a difficult
figure
rule,
out.
I know.
But the new version, they did a really good job at simplifying it, adding a lot of rules.
New pieces.
The new pieces are great. Yeah, I really, really like it. So, Zendo, my number
I
71.
don't like it. This is one game I actually want to get my hands on the new one because it is pretty radically different, just because of the different pieces.
Yeah, they did a good job on this one.
Sam also is a fan.
You're not a big Logic guy, though.
Ooh, in your face!
No, right?
No, that wasn't.
But you're
no,
stupid, so you don't
That's
count.
not what I meant.
That sounded like such a diss.
I know, right?
No.
You're not really a logic
You
guy.
don't know how to reason well.
You know, math is not your thing.
Yeah. Anyway, my number 71 was 82 last year, so it has risen, and I think it's because this is probably the premier, at least in my opinion, legacy game that's on the market right now, and that is
What's about?
Pandemic Legacy.
Thank you.
Season.
1 and 2.
Okay, fair enough. I thought about
That's 2 games.
Shut up. I thought that's reasonable to put them
Notice
together.
I did not put a season 1 or
I
a 2
want to look
here.
at your list.
I
So-
also combined mine on my list.
Furthermore, I have combined Pandemic Legacy Season 1 and 2 and regular Pandemic with this one thing.
No, that I didn't do.
Well, I think last year I did have both on my list. I think. I'm pretty sure Legacy was high. No, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't remember. But I did not want to break up the Pandemic because Legacy is my favorite way to play Pandemic.
Besides, if you played one Pandemic, you played them all.
Here, well, kind of.
Anger rising.
My regular, as far as regular Pandemic is concerned, Iberia is my favorite.
But you're not a big Logic guy, so.
But yeah, that's true. Anyway, Pandemic Legacy was 82 last year, 71 this year, and I hope they continue coming out with seasons for it.
Oh, you mean the Pandemic
Yes.
ones? Yeah, the Legacy
Ones, yeah.
Alrighty, my 71 is actually a new game, probably one of the newest games on the entire list. This just came out. And this is Cryptid.
Wow!
Yeah, baby! This is also a Logic
Ugly
thing you
game.
wouldn't understand, in which you are
Ugly.
trying to... you're trying to find a spot on a map, and you don't know where this monster is supposed to be hiding. Anything I say here thematically, by the way, ignore that. But everyone has a piece of the answer. It's one away from a lake. It's not within 2 of a mountain or whatever. And players will put out pieces of information until someone goes, I think it's here. Boom. And then you check with everybody else. Really clean design, straightforward. Really like this one. It's just...
I like it more if it was just prettier. It looks like a prototype.
It's very... I wouldn't go that far. It has a real... Yeah. It's got a real minimalistic look. How about that?
It's got a
That's what
real
prototypes are.
No, but it feels finished. I mean... It's
Like a
just
good prototype.
It's like a solid... like...
Say the word.
It's like a beta, at least.
Okay.
Pro.
That's a synonym. I'll accept it.
Anyway, 71 for me. New game, Cryptid.
All right, finally, year number 71, which came on the list last year at 64, and this game is still one that I see a lot of people playing. Santorini.
Oh,
A 2 or 3 player game, beautiful components.
that does not look like a prototype.
Ooh.
That's a gorgeous game.
I even know someone who painted one.
White as well.
Yeah, he painted the white buildings.
You glorious, glorious man.
Alrighty, well, there we go. Hey, we're 30% done now. We're in the, I don't know. We're in the,
Stuff's heating up, man. It's getting good.
It is. Remember, every time we talk about things falling, they're still in the top 100.
Out of a
It's
lot.
still really high.
Yep,
Right,
yep.
and every year it gets higher.
It's going to be more competition every time. So if they're
More
hanging
slippage.
on, that's a testament. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Thank you.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side, folks.